think it's over now. You're wrong.
All aboard the night train.
It's over, Prime.
This is the siege.
I'm a man of my word.
Hey. Yeah. Dead or alive, consider this home. No killing the vibe in the Nightwatch zone. Xenomorphs hype when the lights come on. Hit like and subscribe and the show might blow. Go viral, no COVID. It's a spiral emotions. Hand on the Bible. Only go sign on the dopest your vitals. Better tune in, yeah, you know it's vital. From Schwarzenegger to Kane Hodder. Corey G down to Harry Potter. Shit's Sigourney Weaver, love the Nightwatch zone. Come with me to the Nightwatch zone.
Well, there are two things a man should never run from, even if they cost him his life.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are here ready to rock, and we are back with a top 10. And seriously, guys, this is only fitting. We just had a fantastic showdown the other night with this particular director. And so just to give him some more credit and to show our appreciation, we're going to be doing the top 10 best Wes Craven movies ever. Corey Anders with me and Kill. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey.
Good. How you doing?
All right. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. We're talking about Wes Craven. We're talking about just someone who has affected my horror fandom for decades, since I was a young kid. And this is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of memories. And we've talked about a lot of these movies in one way or another over the years of this channel. Real quick, just to say hey to the folks in the chat, and then we're going to get going, bro. We're going to get going on this. Ben, what's up? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We got CJ and Anthony. What's up?
Hey.
We got Nathan. We got Maga. We got Paula. What's going on, Paula? Good to see you as well. Hope you're doing well. All right. Danielle's in the chat. What's going on? Saying my input will be limited. Okay. Only really watched The Nightmare on Elm Street, Screams, and Shocker. So my top 3 would add up to more than 10 movies. All right.
Well, hopefully you can get some suggestions and check them out. Yeah.
That's right. That's the whole reason that we really enjoy doing these types of streams, is that the idea is for people. Well, that's true of all the stuff that we do, at least in my mind, is that I know a lot of people, especially when we talk about older films, they may not have seen them, but this is hopefully a chance for you guys to be introduced into some new stuff. So yeah, absolutely. What's going on, May? May's in the chat.
Hey.
May's all over the place. What's up? This intro is everything. All right. Good to see you. We got Rachel in the chat. What's up? Good to see you. Hope you're doing good, Rach. Barb, what's up? Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. And we got Mary. Mary's in the chat. Welcome. Good to see you, Mary. Hope you're doing well on this Sunday evening. And we got Scott. All right. What's up, Scott? Good to see you. Very, very cool. And May, thank you. May's working hard in the chat already, reminding people, please hit the like button. It helps to support the channel. It also helps to support this stream to get it out to other folks that may decide to join our community. So we really appreciate that. And May, if you could keep me updated on that, if you can, that'd be great. So let's just start this thing off before we officially begin. Kill, I'll start with you. Just give me your quick take on Wes Craven and or his career and filmography.
You know, sort of kind of echo what you were saying. I grew up on Wes Craven. You know, and I guess I'm lucky enough to have been growing up with, you know, Stephen King films, Wes Craven films, John Carpenter films, and Wes, he's magic. He can do it all. He can do horror, he can do suspense, you know, suspense with a little comedy.
Right.
Yeah, and this was a fun one to do, man, to kind of go back through his catalog and just kind of reminisce and remind myself of some of them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you don't forget about Uncle Wes.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget about Uncle Wes. Seriously, such great stuff. Coriander, how about you?
Yeah.
What are your quick thoughts on Wes Craven and his career and how it relates to you as a horror fan?
I mean, these 10 movies that I'm gonna mention are all outstanding freaking movies, and
Mm,
some, like y'all say, changed horror. So,
mm.
I mean, he's incredible, and yeah, it'll be fun talking about him.
Absolutely. No doubt at all. Okay. So, for you guys that have not been around when we've done a top 10, and that is a lot of you guys in this chat because we haven't done one of these in a while. What we're
Yeah.
going to do, we're going to go round robin style. We're going to have Kill, will give his pick first, and then Coriander, and then I will give mine last. You guys in the chat, you guys can give us your list or your analysis of the picks that we give. We'll try to get to as many comments as we can. But if you do a super chat, number one, it would greatly help to support the channel. We'd appreciate it. But also, we'll make sure till you get to your comment and or question within it. Okay, so Kill, we're going to start off with our number 10. So, what is your number 10 in the best of Wes Craven movies?
Okay. This might be just a guilty pleasure for me, but I love this movie. I first saw this movie at my cousin's house on a Saturday afternoon. My
Nice.
first pick, my number 10, is Deadly Friend.
All
And
right.
All
and
right.
and look, this predates Megan. This was
Yeah, it
around.
does.
Yeah,
It does.
there's my man right there, BB. BB was making a list of all the people he was gonna kill in this movie. And like, look, this came out around the time of Short Circuit and
Mm-hmm.
other things trying to be the next ET, but in robot form.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you have a young Christy Swanson who is just so adorable and amazing, and such a tragic story of her character in here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's this is a movie where if you watch the first half of it, you think it's a kind of a Spielbergian adventure movie,
Mm-hmm.
but then it warps into something very dark and sinister and twisted.
Mm.
And I absolutely adore this film, and no one talks about Deadly Friend anymore, but they should. If you guys have not seen Deadly Friend, check it out. It is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun one, and you're right, man. Seeing that when we were kids, and which is what happened with a lot of these movies, whether it was at our cousin's house or we found a way to watch it ourselves. It look, man, back then, and it sounds cliche, but I think it's true, man. Movies had a charm and a magical feel to them, So good pick, bro. Good pick. All right, so Coriander, what do you have for your number 10?
All right. So I have The People Under the Stairs.
There it is.
Yeah. I mean, this movie, I think it's crazy that it was based off of true events. So that right there is kind of creepy. Makes it even more
Mm-hmm.
creepier. But yeah, it's a crazy ass movie that, you know, you think it's going one way and it goes another. And yeah, it's I mean, look at this dude.
Everett
And
McGill.
yeah, I
Love him.
haven't seen it. It's been like a long time since I've seen it. It's been like years. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't really like get into too much of it because I only remember bits and pieces. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's something we're gonna have to rewatch.
Yeah,
So yep.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a classic. And supposedly Jordan Peele is trying to get a reboot or I think it's a
Ooh,
remake of it off the ground because this really was a
interesting.
huge favorite of his. So
Hmm,
very interesting. I think this is definitely the type of movie I could see a Jordan Peele being a part of, whether
that's
it's
kind of cool.
whether it's directing
Mhm.
it or being behind the scenes producing it. So great choice. Love People Under the Stairs. Absolutely. Um, let's see. Rachel in the chat, just to get to them before I get to my pick, saying Wes is a legend. There's absolutely no doubt. Rest in peace to the great Wes Craven. Scott saying Wes Craven is definitely up there with all the greats. Very true.
Hmm.
Very true. Yep. Rachel saying, that being said, I think I'm also limited here. I haven't seen his full repertoire. Well, this is
Oh,
definitely the stream for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yes.
Get a pen and
Yes.
paper and write it down.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
you
this,
want to check all these out.
yeah, there's some great stuff in his filmography, no doubt. Russell saying the basketball kill, right? I know,
Yeah,
I know.
Fatality.
I
It
was
was a
gonna, yes,
fatality, bro.
yes, that was a great one.
Yeah. Rachel said I had never heard of Deadly Friend, but definitely interested now. Yes,
Check it
yes.
Yes,
out.
Some
It's
good
awesome.
stuff, man. It's from a
especially if
different
you're a
time.
fan of Little House too, because Matthew,
That's right.
he was in Little House. He played Albert. So yeah,
Yes, that
man.
was cool.
Yes,
Man, a fan of People Under the Stairs. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. It's a good one. It's a good one. Um, let's see, let's see. Russell said he's watching it. Okay, well there you go. Wow.
Hey.
There you go.
awesome. Right.
For my number 10, now this was a challenging list, okay? Because he's got so many good movies and he's obviously had a couple of franchises. So I tried to stay um to single films. And this was a movie that when I saw it as a kid, it was just one of those things that you see as a kid and it captivates you. Has one of my favorite actresses of horror in it. And I had to pick for number 10, I went with Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
And look, man, it's just a fun, cheesy, and I do mean cheesy, 80s horror movie. Horror with a little bit of sci-fi and a little bit of action in it.
Mhm.
It's just one of those films. You've got the legendary Adrienne Barbeau in it. I absolutely love her and everything that she does. And as a child, this captivated me, man. It was just basically a superhero. This is basically Beauty and the Beast, Frankenstein, that type of vibe. And it's just one of those films that I truly will never ever forget. And even on a rewatch, and we talked about this, I believe it might have been 2.5 years ago or so, but we talked about this during one of our Monster Friday episodes, and it was fun. It was a fun talk. It was like you're reintroducing yourself to an old friend. So there's no doubt that I had to have this on my list. Super cheesy, 80s fun. Wes Craven in the swamps. You gotta love it. Swamp Thing. All right. Very, very cool, man. Let's head to our number 9 kill. So, what is your number 9 on your list?
Okay. My number 9 is the creepy snuff film called The Hills Have Eyes. So look, this is essentially his ode to Toby Hooper and his ode to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, except it's out in the desert. Oh man, you're talking about being unlucky. You got two families here. You got the good old fashioned all American family with the RV on a road trip. They break down, and then you got another family that they're of a different take.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, a little bit of cannibalism, a little bit of mutants from radiation poisoning. A little inbreeding. And yeah, and wackiness ensues. You have the great D Wallace in here.
Thank you.
And yeah, this one, it had to be on my list. Because it's just twisted. It's grotesque. It is literally like a snuff film. And I remember when I first saw this, I felt wrong. Like
Wow.
I felt like this seems too real, too gritty. No disrespect to the remake, or anything like that. But sometimes when they remake some of these movies, like the Texas Chainsaw remake or this remake, they look too clean.
Yeah.
The actors look too much like models, and everything just looks too nice. The cars look too nice, But yeah, this original one, it had that soul, it had that grittiness. And it's classic Craven, and it's sick and twisted. So if you have not seen the original Hills Have Eyes, don't really worry about all the sequels. The remake is not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. It follows the same arcs and so forth. But go get that original recipe. Get that original recipe, Wes Craven on this one. So that's my number 9.
Good point, man. All right, Coriander, how about you? What's your number 9 on your best of Wes Craven?
All right. So I have Deadly Blessing. And that,
Right.
my friends, is a pretty interesting one. You have Sharon Stone. Yeah. And you've got Michael Berryman, who I was fortunate enough to meet. So I always have to say that. And there's actually quite a few actors and actresses that were in Wes's movies that
Mm-hmm.
I've met. And my oldest daughter, was lucky enough to be held. And I have pictures of these people signing, pictures to her. But anyway, so it also brings, I don't know, it's just cool. If you've been to a convention, you know how it is when you get to actually talk about a good movie and you
Mm-hmm.
get to say, I've met this person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like a great movie. It's like Amish country meets the new world and they clash. And yeah, if you've never seen it, I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to give it away. But if you're a Sharon Stone fan, obviously check it out. You've got like uh Ernest Borgnine in this, and
Yes.
yeah, it's like there you go. It's like, yeah, he's great in this movie. So yeah, this is a great one. And if you haven't seen it, you gotta check it out.
Agreed. Absolutely. Very, very cool film. And we got the chance to kind of reconnect with it recently. Um, in I think, yeah, it was Steven's watch party. Yeah.
Yep,
And yeah, man, it's a good one. Again,
it is.
Wes is so creative. I think one thing, and I said this to the guys, backstage before we went live. One thing you got to give Wes Craven a lot of credit for is that his filmography is diverse. Like
Mm,
I mean, he's hit all the
mm-hmm.
buttons, man. He really has. So,
He has.
yeah, no doubt at all. Real quick too, in the chat. Let's see. Paulito is in the house. What's going on, man? Huge fan
Hello.
of People Under the Stairs. Heard Jordan Peele was interested in doing the remake.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we were definitely
Hmm.
talking about that. It's true. It is so true. Let's see. Mary saying Swamp Thing looks fun to watch. It is,
It is.
super
It
cheesy, but
is, but
fun.
it is. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Man is a fan of the Hills Have Eyes remake. There you go. Yeah,
There
it
you
was
go.
good. It was good. Rachel said another one I hadn't heard of. Got lots to watch. Yes,
Ooh,
I
yeah, you
agree.
do.
Good stuff. I agree.
Yeah.
Nathan is coming in with Shocker at number
All
9.
right.
Great film. Great film. Mary saying, here's the ones I love, all of his nightmares, Freddy versus Jason, Red Eye, Vampire in Brooklyn, the Scream movies, and Cursed. Yeah, need to see more of his. He was one of the best horror directors of all time. No doubt
Mm-hmm.
about that. No doubt. And of course, we had to have Elm Street's Last Brat come in here. What's going on, man?
Hello.
Saying hello. What's going on? Mayan asking, this is actually a good question. May saying, are the Deadly movies tied to each other? No, they are not. They are not. And it's funny because with well, actually, let me segue because I just wanted to double check. But you set me up really good, May, because for my number 9, I have also on my list Deadly Friend. And
Nice.
um it's the type of movie, again, it's just a product of his time, a lot of charm, but originally it was just going to be called Friend. It's based off of a novel, and they actually changed it to something else after that too. I think Artificial something or whatever, but eventually they came onto the title of Deadly Friend because they wanted it to sound a little bit more intense. And they were also trying to capitalize. And here's the other thing I want to get into, and then I'll talk about why this is my number 9. Wes has had an interesting career, known as a master of horror, but he has so many times dealt with a lot of studio interference and production interference and things like that, changes to what his original vision was. This is an example of it. He wanted it to be a little bit more of a tale of not so much how um, robotics can be a threat, but how humans can be the threat. And with the production changes and interference, they kind of turn that around a little bit to make it a little bit more commercially viable in their eyes. But regardless, Wes has persevered and had so many great films, even in the eye of interference. And this film is great. Like you said, Kill, Christy Swanson, Buffy herself, a great performance, underrated performance, I think. As far as playing the duality of these roles, and there's a great image that I always love to see. Wes, he was always said to have been such a kind person, a very intelligent person, and very humble. And I think this was a movie, when I saw it as a kid, just like with you, Kill, it captivated me. It was one of those movies that always stuck in my head, especially that basketball kill. It's crazy. So that is my number 9 is Deadly Friend. All right, so let me just jump to the chat before we get to you, Kill, for your number 8. Let's see. I just want to catch up with these guys a little bit. Oh, I think I did. Okay, I did catch up with you guys. All right. Good to see. All right, so Kill, let's go to your number 8 on your list. What do you got?
Okay, so my number 8 is a movie that I used to mispronounce the name a lot when I was a kid. My number 8 is The People Up Under the Stairs.
That's cute. Oh my God.
I used to mispronounce this one all the time. This one, just like Coriander said, this was another classic one from Wes. This one, it was a little unheard of at the time. The majority of the cast was African American. You had our young protagonist. His name was Fool. There he is right there.
Yeah, Fool.
And he was brilliant. He was so smart. And once again, this was like a trope in the 80s where you had kids that were smarter than the adults. Goonies, Gremlins, you name it. It was an awesome trend that now they kind of have done away with. I don't know why. But this was a great movie that was creepy as hell for Killian as a young man. Essentially, you have them kind of breaking into the wrong house, sort of like Don't Breathe. Once you're in, you're in.
You're not getting out.
And they come to realize this house is not all of what it seems. This family is definitely not all what they seem. And you have the great Ving Rhames in here. And man, Ving Rhames does not have a lot of luck in certain movies.
Right?
He catches it bad in this one, and gets fed to the people under the stairs. So
there it is.
If you guys have not seen this, definitely check it out. It's an awesome film, and unfortunately, it's one of those ones that's kind of been lost to time. No one talks about it, and hopefully Jordan Peele does resurrect it, because it's an awesome one. So that's my number 8.
Yeah. I think it's true. I mean, with Wes, it's interesting. To do this top 10, we obviously had to, do the research and make sure we pick the movies that we want. So when you look at his filmography, it's interesting to see the trajectory of it, because as much as he was appreciated and kind of had this status, especially after Nightmare, he still had a lot of struggles with the studio. He had struggles with this movie, which was after Nightmare. He had struggles with Deadly Friend. So it's just interesting to see the master, one of the true masters of horror, and what he was able to do with what little he had at times. But you're right, Kill. People Under the Stairs, such an interesting, I like to call it like a multi-level film, right? Because it starts off with the idea of them breaking into the house, and so you get invested into Fool, and he's a young kid, he's a smart kid, he's got cool wit and personality, and like you said, once they go in, it's not what it appears to be, and all of a sudden it's like these other levels that are going on. A really underrated film, even in Wes's filmography. So hopefully people will give it a chance to check it out if they haven't, especially if they haven't in a long time. So great pick, man. Great pick. All right. So Coriander, what do we have for you at number 8?
So I have The Swamp Thing.
There you go.
Yeah, this is actually one of Wes's movies that I can say I saw as a kid.
Nice.
Yeah, my dad, he was watching it, and yeah, I just was one of those types of kids that liked being with their father, and yeah, and I said it before and I'll say it again. in the part where, she gets her boob cut off and he like puts it back, heals her, and somehow magically puts it back on her, that always stuck with me. And yeah, I'm sorry, babe, but it has. But
It's,
yeah,
if
so
people watch our review of Swamp Thing, which is early on this channel, it's probably within the first 10 videos on this channel, and you will hear the same thing. It's like
because
that,
it's true.
but that's what. But I will say
Oh
that's the
my
magic of
gosh.
movies, though, because that particular moment in this
Yeah,
film has stayed with you. This film from 1982 has
right?
stayed with you all this
It
time.
has.
That's a cool
Yep.
thing. That's the magic of
Yeah.
movies.
Hey man,
Right?
some men give flowers, some repair boobs.
There. All right.
That's right.
All right. For
Oh
my
man.
for my number 8, and this is a film, and of course this is interesting when we do these top 10s because we don't know each other's lists ahead of time. So that's kind of the fun of it. So whether we overlap or have some that are higher or lower than each other, it's always interesting to see. But this is a great film that most people that are fans of Wes Craven probably have no clue what the heck it is. It's already been mentioned, but I want to go a little bit deeper with it, and that is Deadly Blessing. Okay,
Don't go too
so
deep.
why?
Well,
I'm not going to give
some
anything
people haven't.
away.
All right, just some people haven't seen it, so
I'm
don't go
skill
too deep.
I'm skilled enough to talk about it without giving away
I'm
spoilers.
not saying
But
you're not skilled
no, I
enough.
know, I'm just playing. But no, you got, like you were saying, Coriander, your usual suspects. Michael Berryman, who
Yes.
is he's a
Great in this
legend.
film.
You
He
got,
is.
yeah, Sharon Stone. And
Yeah.
it's funny how later he referenced that in Scream with Stu saying, "Your mom's no Sharon Stone," but this is early Sharon Stone, and it's really cool the camaraderie she has with the other two leads. Ernest Borgnine, and I know a lot of people in this chat have no clue who Ernest Borgnine is. You need to learn, because
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. Kill. We grew up on Ernest Borgnine
Mhm.
and the things he
He was
did.
in an episode of Little House. I mean,
That's
there's
right.
2 people that Wes has worked with that's been in Little House on the Prairie. How cool
And
is
you are
that?
the biggest fan of Little House on the Prairie, and
I
rightly
am.
so, rightly so. But with Deadly Blessing, it has all these different things that are going on. It's packaged as a slasher film, okay, but
Mhm.
it's so much more because it deals with these ideas that are on the fringe of cult stuff going on, different kills, really well done for a movie that is an older film. And again, the cast is really great, the chemistry, and it has a scene, and I'm not going to say it. I do have something I'm going to put together, but it has a scene in it. I'm just going to tease this. It has a scene in it that definitely was the inspiration and was recreated as one of the most famous scenes in A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's all I'm going to say. And you guys
Mhm.
can leave that to your imagination. But again, this was a great film, a lot of charm, a lot of fun, and a little bit of cheese, but also mystery. And I really appreciated that aspect of Deadly Blessing. It had a lot of mystery in it. Fun movie. We did it as a watch party, like you were saying, Coriander, a little whiles ago on our buddy Steven's channel. So much fun. So much
Yeah.
fun. And the ending, whoo, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Deadly Blessing.
Right?
It's a fun watch. If you're a Wes Craven fan, you got to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get ready to go to our number 7. And real quick, just to catch up to you guys in the chat, let's see. And man, thank you so much for welcoming people and reminding them to hit the like button. It would help us out. We appreciate it. Nathan at number 8 has Scream 3. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Very, very cool. Let's see. I just want to make sure I catch up. Yes, the actor, yes, who didn't talk was also in Laid to Rest. And we talked about Laid to Rest maybe about 2 months ago in Slasher Movie Club. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
And Jason's in the chat. Good to see you, Jason. Hope you're doing well, man. Thank you so much for being here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kill, let's go to your number 7. Your number 7.
Okay, this one is mean. This one is just this one is just vicious. My number
Mhm.
7 is Last House on the Left.
Aha.
And just look at that poster.
Yeah,
Like
right?
Yeah.
this film, whew, this film is it's a trip. It goes from bad to worse to just miserable to worse to revenge. Uh
Yeah.
this one, once again, a lot like The Hills Have Eyes. When you watch it, it feels like it's a documentary. It feels real. You have
Mhm.
our two female protagonists, good girls, just out being teenagers and
Mhm.
trying to score some grass, just trying to score a little bit of doobie, a little grass, and they run into the gang and they're bored and they're twisted.
Right.
And I don't even really want to go into too much more. But
Mhm.
essentially, if you've seen Hills Have Eyes, or hell, if you've seen something like I Spit on Your Grave, you probably can infer some of the things that go down in here, and towards the end, the extent of the revenge that lands on the gang for things that they do.
Mhm.
But it's a very interesting movie. It has stuck with me as far as being a part of Wes's catalog, and
Mm.
it's definitely a sight to behold. So if you have not seen Last House on the Left, just be prepared. It
Mhm.
pulls no punches. It is vicious.
It
So
is vicious. And Wes talked a lot about the reasoning behind that, and for folks at the time, they were dealing with the aftermath of the Vietnam War and things like that. So again, Wes operated on multiple levels, you know what I'm saying, which was really, really interesting. If you ever get a chance to watch any interviews with him, or even documentaries where he talks about his films, you really get a new perspective on why he did certain things he did with his films. It was more than just putting stuff on the screen to scare people or shock them. A lot of times he was going so much deeper. So definitely, last House on the Left, he broke down the door at the beginning of his career. No doubt. He started off with a bang. Real quick too in the chat, Rachel was saying, "Oof, Last House was too much for me. I couldn't get past the first 20 minutes. It's
Mm.
it's a tough one. It is a
yeah,
tough one, no
yeah.
doubt." May saying, "Oh man, I saw this one for the first time a couple months ago with Night and Craven. Difficult to watch. It is. It
Yeah.
really, really is. I understand why films like this are made, but I can't deal with them. Definitely
Mm.
understandable. It
Definitely.
is a tough watch. I think
Yeah.
the first time we talked about it, I think it was a couple years ago, right around Christmas, and we had talked about it. And it's a tough movie to watch, and it still is to this day. And that
Yes.
says a lot. That says a heck of a lot, because there was also a remake of Last House on the Left, and again, Kill, like you alluded to
Mhm.
earlier. It's good, but it also has this polish to it that takes you a little bit away from Wes's original intention, so to
Mhm.
speak. You know what I mean? So definitely. Elm Street's Last Brat said, "Last House changed my DNA." Yeah,
You
yeah,
and me both, brother.
yep, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And Rachel McDonald talking about the Never Sleep Again documentary. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, it's a great documentary for any fan of Wes Craven or any fan of the Nightmare films. You should definitely watch it. It's one of my favorite documentaries of all time. Okay, so Coriander, we're going to go to your number 7. So what do you have at number 7?
So I have Deadly Friend.
Aha,
Yeah,
there we
you
go.
do.
Yes. I mean, you guys pretty much have said it all. I loved the basketball kill.
Mm,
BB was so cute.
BB.
And
BB.
yes.
Yeah, right.
And it was a shame to what that damn old nag and hag did to her, but I don't know. It's a great movie. And like I said, Matthew, he is like an incredible actor.
I
So
agree.
he is. I mean, he was doing, here we are talking about Little House, but because I can, I'm going to. He did a role where he was like a teenager who got hooked on heroin, back in the it might be the early 1900s or the late 1800s. I can't quite remember when exactly, but his performance in that was incredible. And to see him playing a role like this, really good. And Little House hit subjects. If you haven't watched that TV show, they talk like an array of subjects.
They do.
And drugs was just one of them, and heavy
Yep.
drugs. So it's a great show. You guys need to check it out. And
It
Matthew's
is.
great in this movie. And Christy Swanson, she's my Buffy. I never really got into the show, but I love the movie. So yeah, this is definitely one to see if you have never seen it.
All right. Yeah, and Matthew, definitely I agree. He was great in this film. And again, a child actor who, it was more than just their childlike appeal. Like, he has real talent, and he shows a lot of that in this film. So no doubt that he was a part of what made this film work, because there was a lot on his shoulders as far as the plot of this film. So I absolutely agree. He was great. Christy was great. And again, Wes Craven persevered through a lot of production stuff. So awesome pick. Awesome pick. All right. So for my number 7, and there was no doubt that this film was going to be on my list because I love this movie so much. I still remember the first time I saw it. This was a film, again, Kill, you mentioned it. These were some movies that we just enjoyed watching together and with family. But there was no doubt I had to have it. And I'm going with The People Under the Stairs, Up Under the Stairs. And listen, man, again, multiple levels that we're working on. I don't want to give it away for those who may not have seen it, but if you haven't, you should. And that's exactly one of the reasons we love doing these top 10 lists. But again, a lot of great performances, a lot of weird, odd stuff going on. The actors were great. The scares were really, really good. And the set, I mean, the house itself was just a character. And like you said earlier, Kill, you've got this character that helps to break into this house to steal, because they're down on their luck and poor and so forth. And this is a way for them to score. Once they get in the house, you're just taking on this roller coaster ride because there's so much stuff going on. I don't want to give it away, but it's just a lot of different obstacles and other characters that you come across, and they're dealing with their own issues. They're dealing with their own individual hells that they're living in. So again, People on the Stairs, very underrated in Wes's filmography, and I think it's well worth a watch. It's a fun movie still to this day. It really, really is. All right, so that was my number 7, People on the Stairs. And Mahan said, "Burn in hell." I love it. It's true, man. It's true. Paula's in the chat. What's going on, Paula? Good to see you. We got Unstable in the chat saying New Nightmare is my favorite Wes Craven movie. All right. Very, very cool. And we were just talking about, if you haven't checked out our Battle World stream from last Tuesday night, check it out, because all I can say is Freddy's going for the title, and it's because New Nightmare is that awesome. It really, really is. Let's see. Nathan saying at number 7, going with Scream 4. Okay. All right. Very, very cool. Okay, Kill. Let's get ready to go to our number 6 pick. Wow, we're moving. All right. So let's get ready to do our number 6, man. What do you got?
Okay, so this one is one when I saw and I was younger. It took me like a few watches to really take everything in, because it goes places. That's all I'm gonna say. But the imagery is amazing, the cinematography, and overall, it's spooky. My number 6 is Serpent and the Rainbow.
Nice.
And I mean, look, Bill Pullman, he went through some things in this movie, man. Kind of being a fish out of water. He's kind of going into a culture that he wants to understand more about. But there are rules, and there you have the great Paul Winfield there.
Yes.
And essentially, this is like a fish out of water story mixed with immortality and zombies and zombie potions, and of course, how can we make money from this zombie potion?
Yes.
Yeah, so this one, like, it's funny. I've only watched this one twice in my entire life. Once when
Mm,
I was younger, and then once maybe 10, 15 years ago. Uh it's definitely one of, just in my opinion, it's definitely one of his more it's weird to describe this this one, because like I said, for me to fully grasp all of what was going in on this movie, you really have to pay attention. It's not
mm,
it's not an easy watch, and
mhm,
not easy like in the sense of something that's like Last House on the Left, but this one, it's just so much going on to it, and so much lore and history and other cultures and so forth, that it's a lot to devour.
mm,
But definitely when we were making this list, I was just wondering where I was going to put this on my list. I know it was going to be on the lower part of my list only because of the complexities that I had watching it, but it's definitely a classic. So if you have not read the book Serpent in the Rainbow, or watched the movie, or you haven't seen it anytime soon, definitely check it out, because once again, this is another one of Wes's movies that time is kind of forgotten. No one really talks about Serpent in the Rainbow. But I
mhm.
remember when it came out, a lot of people were talking about it like, what is this?
Right?
People being
Yeah.
buried alive, which for me, that is nightmare fuel.
Mhm,
Oh, he's dead, and like, no, I'm not dead. Like, yeah, that,
mhm.
whoo, I don't even want to keep talking about it. So that's my number six.
Yeah, man. No, it's a good one. And I remember when we were kids and they would show, commercials that were basically, the trailers for these films, or it was a quick little whatever reel of the film before they played it on TV. And
Hmm.
this one was scary, man. Like you
Yeah.
said, when you're talking about being buried alive and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And who knows, we might talk about this movie again on this list. Okay, so Coriander, how about you? What do we have for your number 6?
So I have The Hills Have Eyes.
All right.
And yeah, this is a great, it's a great movie. I guess I like, I don't know, I guess I'm just a messed up individual, but this movie is good. Yeah, what happens to this family is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But I mean, it's just I could watch this movie again and again. I just like it that much. So
Mm-hmm.
it should be lower, but unfortunately, yeah, I have it at 6. So yeah, so there you go.
Well, no, I mean it's definitely not unfortunate. It's definitely one of those movies that was always kind of heralded in his filmography, even though it's an older
Yeah,
film. But it's
I
always
love his
hit.
older stuff,
Yeah, it's always
especially the
hit.
beginning. I mean, he was doing movies and hitting upon issues that, that they're tough for a lot of people, you
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, like I said, I'm just one of those people that I can sit through and say, I'm okay with this movie and I like it. And
Mm-hmm.
this is where it is. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think the thing about Wes, and just to take a quick moment here, and you guys can tell me what you think too if you want. I think the thing about Wes, when you look at all these movies, and we're talking about a lot, and we still got more to talk about, but he has a certain integrity that he always has in his movies. Like even with the most intense films and the most controversial ones, there's a certain level of you could just feel the integrity from him. That he has a certain care about what he's doing, and it's interesting because a lot of the things that he's trying to say, even though he might have said it in multiple films, he always does it in a different way. He's talking about these sensitive subjects and these
Mhm.
really these things that a lot of filmmakers probably wouldn't do. And I
Mhm.
think that's a credit to Wes to be able to do it in a way where you can watch it. And it's difficult, and some folks in this live chat have talked about that. It's difficult to see some of these things, but he's doing it from a point of view that's earnest, if that makes any
Mhm.
sense. And I think if you
Mhm.
watch his filmography, and especially if you listen to him, and I would
Mhm.
highly recommend for people to search out interviews and documentaries and stuff and just listen to what Wes says. And I think that you really get a sense of what he wanted these films to say. Because, when you watch a
Yeah.
movie, you can have a different idea. Oh, he's trying to say this. And you might be right, but you also could be mistaken. But that's also the beauty
Yeah.
of art. But if
And
you
can I
listen
say
to,
also, yeah,
yeah,
that when we did, when Craven was doing his Wes stuff and he would play those clips
hmm,
where Wes was talking about his movies,
yes,
I mean, there's good clips in that. You guys should go
oh yeah,
to Steven's
yeah,
channel and check out that episode because, yeah, it's
yeah.
you learn a lot. So,
Well, and like he said, one of the things, and I think Jamie Kennedy was saying that he said that, horror does not have to be horrific. You know
mm,
what I mean? You
mhm,
can do horror and be true to horror, but do it in a way where you're just not trying to put one over on your audience, so to speak. So, anyways, he's just awesome, and I think that as a filmmaker, there's just so much beyond what people might know. Especially when you think about Wes, you think about Nightmare, you think about the Scream franchise. There was so much more to him as a
mhm.
filmmaker.
Yes.
So that's why I'm glad we're doing this particular live stream today. So before I get to my number 6, real quick. May says we're at 29 likes. Great job, everyone. Thank you so much. And if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps us out. Helps us out. Let's see. Jennifer is in the chat. Hey, what's going on, Jennifer? Good to see you. All right. We got Melissa's in the chat. Good to see you. Hope you guys are doing well. Again, let us know what some of your favorite Wes Craven movies are as we continue to go through our list. And I think I've caught up to everyone in here. Scott's in the chat. What's going on, Scott? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right. So at my number 6, again, he's had so many different takes in his filmography, and this was one that had to be on my list. I was trying to figure out where I'm going to put it, and we talked a little bit about it and referred to it a few times here, but I had to put it here, and that's Last House on the Left. Again, a really intense film, a challenging film, but different layers to it. Even to this day, and we did a watch party with our good buddy Steven. It's a difficult watch, man. Some of the scenes in this film, even the scenes that are not the most well known, there's so much tension. There's so much anticipation in what you think is going to happen, and of course, what does. It's just one of those types of movies. It started his career, totally altered the trajectory of horror, and he was able to do that. You mentioned it earlier, Coriander. He was able to do that 3 times in his career, in 3 different decades, with 3 totally different types of movies. And Kill, he's got crease in
Yes,
the
he
Last House
does.
on Martin Cove, baby. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir. No, but seriously, I say that to say that Wes was very good with actors, and through his filmography, he's had so many great actors of high profile and also character actors, and he just always seems to get the most out of these actors for the particular project that they're in. So I won't keep going on and on, but that is my number 6, The Last House on the Left. All right. Now we're going into the top 5, Kill. We got to proceed with caution, bro. We've
Okay.
got to proceed with caution, man. So what do you have for your number 5 pick?
Okay, so this is where it gets dicey for me. My number 1 and number 2, that was easy, but my 3, 4, and 5, whew. So I guess I'll be the first one to kind of to break the seal. I guess I'll be the first one to kind of
no.
go through the portal here. My
Yeah.
number 5 is a little indie film called Scream 2. So surprise, I get to go first. Look, what can I say about Scream 2 that has not been said, in pop culture? To follow up a great film like Scream and to do it at such a degree at that
Mm,
time is an amazing feat. to essentially have our final crew of actors from the first movie, you know, reprise their roles, up the ante. Now you're in college, have Nev Campbell be vulnerable yet, you know, going through PTSD from literally almost being killed by her boyfriend in the last movie, and the other heartaches that she was going through with her own family and so forth. This one just kind of gives you everything you loved from the original and ramped it up. You know, threw the curveballs at you. So even though you thought you knew what was going on, you didn't. And to do something that at that time, if you really think about it, had not been done. We essentially had Ghostface, but it was a different killer. You know, we're used to Freddy always being Freddy, Michael always being Michael Myers, you know, Jason always being Jason. But in this film right here said, hey, look, we'll still have this mask, but it's going to be a different person who has issues with, you know, our protagonist. So Scream 2 was a great follow-up and a great way to show, hey, this franchise is here to stay and this is the direction we're going. And yeah, that's my number 5.
All right. Okay. Very, very cool. And we got Jennifer saying, yes, Scream 2. Woot woot. All right. Ben saying, let me say, Night, that y'all are in rare form tonight. Stellar commentary. Well, thank you so much. Very, very cool. Saying, I've got to revisit It Follows after this. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a really good one, man. Seriously. Rachel saying, here's my hot take today. I prefer Scream 3 to Scream 2 by a lot. Ooh, wow. I like 3 as well, you know, and I've talked a lot
Me
about
too.
that. You know, I think that's always kind of thought of as the black sheep, but there's a lot of great stuff in Scream 3, and we've talked about that as we've gone through all the films. But there you go. Very cool, Rachel. Very cool. James is in the chat. All right. Saying, hey guys, Wes Craven is my favorite horror director. Well, you are in the right
Very
live
cool.
stream right now. There you go. Let's see. Philip saying Scream 2 is awesome. Very cool. Scott saying Wes isn't my favorite horror filmmaker, but he's absolutely top tier. There you go. All right. James saying Scream 2 is the best sequel in the franchise. All right. We got Denisha in the chat. Good to see you, Denisha. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. And Anthony saying Scream 3 has grown on me. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. And again, guys, if you have not hit the like button, please do. It definitely helps to support the channel, and we'd appreciate it. And also, thank you to all you guys that are members that are with us in the chat. And if anyone is here that isn't a member, if you'd like to help support the channel and help keep the lights on, just hit the join button next to the subscribe button. May or Denisha, if you guys could put the link for the channel membership in the chat, that would be great. All right. So, Coriander, what is your number 5 out of all the movies that the great Wes Craven has directed? And this is what you're calling your number 5. What is it?
So I have a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, what? Is it
No, I'm
too
saying
high?
go for it. No.
Oh, okay.
Is it too high?
Well, I'm just saying, I didn't know, you know, because it's not lower, that you were like, oh.
Look, man,
You know.
this is what I think of that.
What?
Dude, seriously.
I'm sorry. I was waiting the whole time. You know it.
He had that loaded.
Yeah.
Ready
that's
to
just
go,
cruel.
bro. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, sweetie. So what are you saying about Nightmare on Elm Street?
Hey, that's it. My number 5.
Come on,
you
man.
did it all when you played that clip.
Come on. Why is it your number 5?
Wait, no. It's, you know, when I first saw this and Tina's death, I was like, holy shit, what kind of movie is this going to be? You know, because I'd never seen a death like that. And yeah, it was just an incredible movie. And Johnny Depp, everybody knows I'm a fan here. So yeah, man, you can't go wrong with anything in this movie. Freddy is scary. Like, he should have been throughout this whole franchise. This is what really pisses me off with this franchise, is the way they took him. Because it could be like my top franchise, if they didn't turn Freddy into this big comedian, which I can't stand, so
Let
yeah,
me
it's kind
ask
of
you.
disappointing.
Well, let me ask you this, because I don't think I've ever asked you this, but and this is just for the fun of it as a little bit of a tangent, because you just said that statement. Let me ask you this: if Nightmare on Elm Street, let's say had whatever, let's say 6 movies,
Hmm.
the seventh one he was a darker Freddy anyway. So let's say that you got 7 movies where he's pretty much at that level of being a scary or dark character. Would Nightmare on Elm Street have taken the top spot over
Oh,
Friday the 13th for you?
no, I don't think anything is ever gonna top,
Okay. Well, would it have
Jason.
so
But
it
it
have
would
it
be
have
a
been number
contender
2?
with. It could be with Michael. Hell
Okay.
yeah. But
All right.
these last Halloween movies that changed everything for Michael for me. So that's
Okay.
why he's where Michael is now.
All
So
right.
either way, Freddy would be. Well, no, then you have Leatherface, and then I would have Freddy.
All right. Well,
There
now we're
you
going
go.
into a rabbit trail now, man. I'm just asking a question. Could have been the number one franchise for you. That's all I want to know. Because
Oh
when you
shit.
said
Well,
that,
I'm just
first thing
trying to
I'm
tell
thinking
you where
about
I
is
I would actually rank him because that's how
yes.
pissed off he could be. So much higher,
Right, right,
but
right. All right. All right. Very, very cool. All right. So for me, for my number 5, and again, this was where a lot of things started to kind of get more compressed as far as what do I choose. Um, but I had to have this on my list, and I love this movie. We just watched it not too long ago as a rewatch with our good buddy Steven. But The Hills Have Eyes, man. I had to have it on my list. Um, it's just one of those, and Kill, I think you said it best. It's just a really gritty, um dirty movie. It feels like you're watching something that's really happening right in front of you. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I mean, and the idea, like with movies like this, or even like Last House on the Left, and these were his early films, and you can tell that, but you can see the greatness. You can see the greatness of what Wes would eventually become. But this movie, it's so lean and mean. Look at where these people are at. They are this is the emptiest canyon on the face of the planet. Why are you out there? There is no reason for you to be out there. And even the great D. Wallace can't save you. She cannot save you. It should have been a dog out there attacking them, and maybe you would have had a chance. Shout out to Cujo.
Wow.
But no, there is no reason for this family to have gone out there. And when you break down, kill, sometimes you come into contact with some people that just have no rules.
Mhm.
And that's what happened. They had no rules. Once again, shout out to the great Michael Berryman, who can do no wrong. And again, this is a film that's gritty, it's dirty. Once you're done, you're just like, wow, I got to take a shower. It's a fantastic film, and
Wow.
it has a great remake. But like you said, Kill, and that's why I didn't want to say it until now because I knew it was on my list. Um, it the remake is so polished feeling. It's
Yeah.
great, but it's just polished. And with this movie, when you watch it, even if you've got it, like if you're old school like I am, if you got it on VCR, if you got an old copy of it, and it almost looks grainy and dirty, and it's like, man, it's almost like a damn,
Who's
like you
in the
said, almost.
remake again?
I can't remember. I haven't
I
seen the
can't
remake in a while,
either. I
but it is
haven't
good.
either. I can't
Yeah.
remember to say if I liked it or not.
Yeah, no, it was
So,
good, and like Kill
mhm.
said, a lot of the same story beats, but yeah, it's just too polished for me, man. It truly, truly is. So
Yeah.
at number 5, The Hills Have Eyes. All right, so let me just catch up to the chat real quick before we go to our next uh number here, Kill. So Mayanne saying yes, Coriander. I love A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Very, very cool. Let's see what else we got going on in the chat. You guys, too funny. Let's see. Paul is saying, I loved Scream 2. Mickey's motive was so right on and so real. I still remember the Aurora movie theater shooting. Oh man,
Mm.
yeah, there you go. Yep, yep. Scott saying, gotta bounce, guys. I'll pop back in if I have time. Have a great night. Alrighty, Scott. Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Hope you have a
Mhm.
good night. Let's see what else we got going on here. And thank you, May, for putting the link into the chat. If you'd like to help support the channel, just click that link. You can become a channel member, join us for exclusive content, exclusive watch parties, exclusive live streams as well. Let's see. Rachel saying the original Nightmare is such a classic, so good. Very true. Very true. Yes, indeed. Barb saying, I think many agree with you, Coriander, on that. He was sinister in the OG Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, 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 yes. Very, very true. May saying, dang, the remake is a hard watch as well. Yeah, for the Hills and Last House, definitely, definitely. And hey, we've got Denisha renewed her membership. Back in the fold.
Awesome.
Thank you, Denisha. We really appreciate that. Very cool of you. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. And we got Dominic in the chat. What's going on, Dominic? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well.
Hello.
And again, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps to support the stream. Okay, so now we're headed to our number 4 kill. So what do you have at your number 4?
Okay, so I feel like I don't know. I might be the only one that has this on their list, and that's fine. But I love this movie. Some people would even say it's not a horror movie, but I think the ending kind of is very horror. My number 4 is a movie called Red Eye. So from one Cillian to another Cillian Murphy, I love this movie. This movie, once again, just like when you watch Deadly Friend, it starts off where this could be a romantic comedy. If you just turned it on cable and you're watching it, oh, Rachel McAdams meets this guy. I mean, look at that. That looks like the poster for it. Love Actually or something. I don't know.
There you go.
You know, she meets this handsome guy and they're at the airport. And oh, guess what? They're actually sitting next to each other. Who'd have thunk it? But then Cillian is such a great actor because he can turn it on a dot, sort of like Christopher Walken. You know, like how he was in A Nick of Time or whatever, and he gets very cold. And this movie warps into an action movie that deals with terrorist attacks and so forth, and ends in essentially, you know, he becomes a slasher trying to kill Rachel McAdams. But the cool thing about this movie is it's on a time crunch.
Yes.
Everything that Rachel does, it's full of tension because it's just like, man, is she going to be able to outsmart him? Nope, he's smarter than that. Like, oh, geez, he knew she was going to do that. Or, oh, he knew she would try to not actually make the phone call. And it's a great movie. And for me, it was one of the first roles that I actually saw Cillian Murphy in. And I absolutely have always loved Red Eye, and it's like another one of those classics that no one talks about, but it is full of tension and great performances from Rachel McAdams and Cillian, and it's just tension, and you don't feel the time of the movie. It's one of those movies that's just underrated, and it just moves. So Red Eye is my number 4. Love this movie.
Good pick, man. Good pick. And Rachel, speaking of Rachel McAdams, but Rachel McDonald says, Horror Fam got to run, but we'll catch y'all later this week for Halloween versus Dream Warriors. That's right. Battle World, baby. The title fight, man. Thank you so much, Rachel. We appreciate you. May saying Red Eye is so good. Yes. Foreign Horrors in the chat saying night, Corey Kill chat. Great pick, Kill. Yes. Anthony saying it is so underrated. Very true. Dominic is speaking the gospel, saying I liked him in 28 Days Later. Absolutely. Yes, Cillian Murphy is amazing. He really is. Loved him in Inception too. He's just so good, man. He's so good in everything he does. Obviously, The Dark Knight, great stuff. Jennifer saying yes, Red Eye is a great movie, so underrated. The creep factor is on full blast.
Definitely.
There you go. Yep. Mary saying Red Eye is such an awesome, entertaining, fun movie. Rachel was award-winning actress in this movie, in my opinion. Yeah, she was great in it. Yep. Yep. And May, thank you so much. May is doing the job for the people, saying join us tomorrow for another epic horror talk. That is right. Best performance in horror. We're going to be talking about that stuff. Thank you so much. And also hit the likes for upcoming streams. It really helps us out. Very, very true. Okay. So Coriander, what do you have for your number 4?
All right, so I have The Serpent and the Rainbow.
There it is.
Yeah, this is one where I actually saw this when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great movie. You have what the hell's his name?
Bill
Can't think of
Pullman.
it.
Bill Pullman.
Yes, and his character goes over there because he works for a drug company. So they're sending him over there to try to find this drug that's making people seem like they're dead, but they're really not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great movie that you experience the black side of voodoo, and you get the dark side of voodoo and the not so dark side of voodoo, but this movie definitely deals with the black magic of it. So yeah, it's a good movie. So yeah.
It is. It is. It is. No doubt at all. And again, Bill Pullman, one of those character actors that Wes has in his movies that he gets a really great performance out of. So shout out to Bill Pullman. All right.
Mhm.
For my number 4, this is a movie, and we've said this multiple times on these movies for this list, but this is underrated. This is not talked about enough. I really, and I, follow a lot of other content creators and have befriended so many other content creators, and there's only one other content creator that I know of, and I'm not saying it's the only one, but just in my experience that I know of that has even talked about this film, let alone we did a watch party for it. And it's fantastic and it should be talked about more, but we've already mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it for my number 4. Kill, I agree with you. I'm going with Red Eye.
Nice.
And, again, this is a really, really good movie. What tension that this movie is able to just grab you with, you know what I'm saying? Cillian Murphy and Rachel, they were just great together. So many amazing moments with just dialogue. I mean, there's definitely the action that goes on in this movie too. And like you said, Kill, it has those aspects of it that are almost like a straight slasher that happens as well. But it's just so many moments where you're just wondering, how is this going to play out? I don't know. And if you really think about it in a way, Rachel McAdams, she's a great example of a final girl character because she really has to deal with a lot in this movie. That's all I'm going to say. For you guys that have not seen it, you really should. It's a fun time. I really, really enjoyed this film. So had to have this on my list. At number 4, I've got Red Eye.
Nice.
All right. Philip saying never heard of it. That does not surprise me. That's why you guys got homework. You guys got homework. These are some good movies, man. Yes, and of course, Cillian Murphy. I was so happy for his success with Oppenheimer. A great actor, and I'm glad that he's getting his moment in the sun a lot more. He deserves it. Ben saying, I've got an early morning, need to revisit it. Follows, keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Yeah. And Denisha is reminding us we have 33 likes. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And if you haven't hit the like button, please do. Please do. All right. Anthony saying, watch a long time. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You never know. You never know. Okay. All right. So now we are heading to our top 3. So let me just pull that up and Kill. This is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. So let's just proceed with caution, bro. What do you got for your number 3?
Okay. So for my number 3, I have Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I love this film. I love that poster.
Yeah, you do. I did that for you, bro, because
And
that's the alternate poster.
I love that poster, man. Like, look, you know, and guys, we've talked about Wes Craven's New Nightmare before. Definitely check it out. We had a blast talking about it before. Look, this was a return to form. This was a return to a scary Freddy Krueger, you know, where, yeah, okay, he's not the Freddy we know. He's more of a demon entity, but he's scary. And he's got that cool trench coat, baby. He's got the trench coat, he's got the boots,
The
you
leather
know,
pants.
he's got the leather pants. He doesn't wear the hat all the time. He's like, hey, look, I'm gonna just go natural. Look at him. Like, look at me. You know? So I love the look of this Freddy, and I love the meta of this movie because this predates Scream. You know, Scream took a lot from this, and Wes was able to not only, you know, break, you know, the fifth wall, or, you know, sort of say here, he's in the movie as himself. You know, you have Robert Englund in the movie, not only as Freddy, but also as Robert Englund. You know, so this movie was just really ahead of its time. And I think that both helped and hindered it.
Yes, I was just about to say, yeah.
But, you know, this definitely, you know, and it's grown on me more and more over the years. But I swear on everything, I love this movie, and I love this version of Freddy, and it's my number 3. Check it out, guys. Check it out.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's so well done, and like you said, it predates Scream, and I think that it almost was too far ahead of its time, you know, because we're talking 94, Scream came out in 96. But I think that even for us Freddy fans, we weren't ready for that. You know, this is the movie, and we've talked about this, and if you guys haven't watched our Nightmare on Elm Street series, we went through all the films, we ranked the franchise. So please check those out. That was a lot of fun. But like I said, when we talked about New Nightmare, this was the movie in the franchise that has risen the most over the years for me. And it is fantastic. We just talked about it on Battle World on Tuesday night, so check that out as well, guys. But yeah, May's a fan saying, yes, New Nightmare. There you go. There you go. James saying at number 3, he's got Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the best Elm Street sequel. There you go. Elm Street's Last Brat saying, I love the actress Fran Bennett who played the doctor in New Nightmare. Class act. Absolutely. She was fantastic. Loved everything she did in that film. Very, very cool. Okay. So Coriander, we're going to move on to your number 3.
Yeah. So my number 3 is Scream 2.
All right.
You know, for a sequel, there's not too many movies that you can say they have a good sequel, but this one is. You know, I enjoyed it. Yeah, and of course Dewey. You know, and it's a tragedy. You know, he gets his ass kicked in the first one, and he gets his ass kicked in this one, but yet he survives. You know, so yeah, you know, it's a fun one, and yeah, there you go.
All right. Okay. Very, very cool. And it is a great sequel. It's one of the best horror sequels of all time. I mean, just the
Yeah,
level
it's
at
good.
which they were able to just take the franchise and better so many elements. It's absolutely crazy. And to me, it's probably the best chemistry of the OG3. Like, they were just great. The Dewey and Gale, and obviously Nev, and
Yeah.
that chase scene with Gale. And we talked about this on Tuesday night on Battle World, so definitely check that out, guys. But the chase scene with Gale, still to this day, is one of the greatest chase scenes in horror. It was just so much tension, and the way it was shot, the camera work. Wes is all right. Wes is all right. Seriously. All right. Before I get to my number 3, May has put the link in. Let's see, for our watch alongs coming up. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, May. Much appreciated. Jennifer saying, I love New Nightmare, but I've always seen hate for it. I'm so glad to have this community who enjoy it as well. Yes, absolutely. I just think a lot of people were behind the curve on New Nightmare. They weren't ready for it, so to speak, and I wasn't either. When I was young, I was kind of, not that I didn't like it, but I was just like, this is interesting. But then when you really take the time to watch it and what Wes was doing, it's genius. It's absolutely genius. I mean, it's such a unique film too. So very cool stuff. And Paula talking about Robert was on Stranger Things. Yes, he was.
Mm,
Very,
yep.
very cool. Robert's a legend, man. He's absolutely fantastic. And I've said it many times before, even though he has said that he is done playing Freddy Krueger, which, it is a sad thing in a lot of ways, at least to me. But
Yeah.
he's still doing things like cons. We got to see him at a con. He's a living
Yep.
legend. He's a living horror legend. And I think we need to just remember that and appreciate him. And yeah, he's just, I mean, he's our childhood, really. He really, really is. So,
If
okay.
they ever do bring back a Nightmare movie, I
Mhm.
really hope that they keep them scary
Oh,
and
yeah.
not like,
If they
give them
haven't learned
these.
their lesson by now, I don't know if they ever
I'm going to
will.
be so disappointed.
Right? It's so true, man. So for my number 3, and this was really tough. This is where it started to get a little interesting. But this is a movie that really captivated me as a kid. I'll never forget just kind of seeing some of the imagery from it on TV and just what it was about. And again, we've kind of referenced it a little bit so far, but I had to have it for number 3 on my list. And I'm going with The Serpent and the Rainbow. Look, man, that poster alone, it's like, oh my God, the president is in trouble. Bill Pullman, shout out. Independence Day, shout out. There were so many cool elements to this film, and we just had the opportunity to do a rewatch of it for watch party with our good buddy Steven. And I hadn't seen it in a few years, and I truly had forgotten how good this movie is. And you said it really well too, Kill and Coriander. There's so many levels to this film with Bill Pullman's character going into a different culture and being that fish out of water. And he's definitely curious. And sometimes curiosity does not get you anywhere good, that is.
Mhm.
And a lot of great scenes, a lot of, there's some good gore in it too. You wouldn't expect for the type of film that it is, because it definitely works on a psychological level as well. But the imagery is fantastic. Like you said, Kill, Paul Winfield, who's also always good seeing him and stuff, a great character actor. Rest in peace to him. But bro, that scene, I'm just saying, man, when he's like, I'm not dead yet, and there's no
Mm-hmm.
way out of this situation for him, dude, even to this day, that is still so horrific to me. And the way that it was shot and the way that Wes was able to amplify the terror that you as a viewer feel, I think is absolutely fantastic. It's a great movie, totally underrated, even in his filmography, but I had to have it on my list. So The Serpent and the Rainbow at number 3 for me. All right, let's do this, Kill. We all knew that it was probably, and I'm using the word probably, gonna come down to this. So, bro, let us know. I'll talk about that in a minute too. Tell us, what is your number 2?
So my number 2, without further ado, is Scream. So look, I love Scream. Scream rewrote the landscape of horror and the meta in horror, and essentially filmmakers able to make fun of themselves and the tropes and all that. It sparked an amazing franchise. A lot of great up and coming young talent from Hollywood, iconic characters, and it introduced us to Ghostface. Love it or hate it, I love that mask. Nev Campbell is a brilliant, amazing final girl, final woman. She is just everything. She's vulnerable, she's smart, she's a survivor, and she's tough as nails. I mean, look at her. She's covered in blood. Her boyfriend is trying to kill her. Like, look at her eyes. Like, her eyes are burning to like just put a bullet in his head. And also this movie was just a fun ride, and you're able to put all that in there: comedy, action, suspense. Who is the killer? It's kind of a whodunit slasher that's also funny. So yeah, Ask Me on a Different Day this might have been my number one, but as it is right now, I love this film, but it is unfortunately my number two.
All right. Okay. That look, man. I mean, we all knew that the possibilities were there. So I was wondering when you gave your list, I was wondering where are you going to put this thing, man. So I was really, really interested. And yeah, good pick, good pick. All right. So Coriander, what do you have as your number two?
Okay. So don't hate me, guys, because I have this movie at number two. You know, I'm still a nice person. No.
Come on, man.
All right. So I have The Last House on the Left. I thought that David Hess, I mean, he's a great actor and he's such an asshole and plays the worst people ever. And he's so good at it.
Mhm.
And I love how this movie is a revenge tale. It's a sad, definitely sad, tragic thing that, happened to these people's, well, at least to one of their daughters, and yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's a rough film. It is, but I mean, it's probably, it's at my number two. So,
Mhm.
I enjoy this movie and I can watch it and be okay with it and not feel like I have to take a shower or, dirty or whatever. I feel like a normal person who just watched a pretty damn good movie. So, yeah, that's my number two.
All right. All right. May saying we love you, Coriander, especially your spunk and feistiness. There you go. There you go. All right, guys. You knew it was gonna come down to this. And look, there has never been any lying here. And this is odd, okay? Because when we've done these top tens, usually my number one and number two, I can kind of figure that out pretty quick, and there's no hesitation. This one, although what I have is always what I thought, there were those moments where it's like, but I could have it another way, and it's just because these are just strong films from Wes. I mean, he's truly the master of horror, and God, man, I love both of these movies. But as usual, there is no lying here. So at number two, I have Vampire in Brooklyn. And no, I'm lying. I do not. I don't. My number two, Kill didn't even move, man. Come on, man. Give me something. He's looking at me like, stop your lying.
Just
Okay.
stop it.
Okay. No. My number two is obviously Scream. And look, guys, look. This channel, we have spoken a lot about this franchise, and rightly so. It's a fantastic franchise, but it all started in 1996 with a movie that was able to do so much all at the same time. The mystery, the chemistry, the tension, the characters, the kills, just all of these things together. And it's Wes. It's Wes that made all this work. We literally had a horror icon and we had one of the greatest scream queens of all time in horror in Nev Campbell. It's just so well done. The opening alone is one of the greatest openings in horror movie history, maybe only bested by one other film. And if you guys know me, you should know what film I'm referencing. But on any given day, this is one of the greatest openings that you'll see in horror. And it's just fantastic. The cast is fantastic. The reveal at the end is one of the greatest reveals in horror movie history. It caught me by surprise, and it was a double reveal. Like, what? How do you do that? And it was out of nowhere. So many great characters from this film that have lived on for decades. And again, Wes Craven changing horror. He saved horror with Scream. Horror was whew. I mean, we tried to keep going with Michael, Jason, and Freddy, but we were just on the last legs. And Scream reignited the franchise. It reignited the slasher genre, and I'm so glad that Wes was able to do it in light of all the studio interference by the Weinsteins and so forth. But Scream is a perfect film. It's fantastic, but it is at my number 2. All right, so we got that out of the way. Kill, you know where we're going. We got to talk about our number 1 film when we talk about the top 10 best of Wes Craven. So, bro, proceed with caution and spill the beans. What do we got?
Okay, there's no lying here. My number 1 is Scream 3.
There it is. There it is.
I'm just kidding. I love Scream 3.
Coriander didn't say anything. She was just like, what?
I love Scream 3, but not as much as I love A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Preach. Preach.
So look, this was nightmare fuel for me. This sparked a new dimension of horror. And it really did. To have a slasher, an antagonist who has no physical body. You can't fight back, and if you go to sleep, you die. We all have to sleep, and this movie just really just brought a whole nother layer of fear. Like if you go to sleep, you die. If you dream, you die. You're gonna have nightmares. He's gonna twist your worst fears, your insecurities, no matter what it is, all any disorders you have, it's gonna come out, and you're gonna be murdered in a spectacular fashion. And just like Coriander said earlier, I like my Freddy serious, and this is when Freddy, you barely see him. He's in the shadows. He's you don't even know, like, this guy, he barely talks, but he's a presence, and he is vicious. And Robert Englund, he had no playbook for this. He just kind of stepped in as the great thespian he is, and he made this role his own. And this is absolutely a classic. This one, literally, I knew this was going to be my number 1. But like I said, depending on the day, and it has to be like a cold day in hell, like, for me to switch it. But there might be that day someday, but I doubt it. This was my number 1, and this was the easiest pick on my entire list. So my hat is off to you, sir. Not literally, but it is off to you. This is a masterpiece and nightmare fuel.
It is, man. It is very, very cool. And James says Nightmare on Elm Street at number 1, the best horror movie of all time. All right. All right. Troy's in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. May saying, I never watched the movie as a kid, but just knowing about it made me have nightmares for years. There you go. Oh, man. Very, very cool. All right. So, Coriander, it's that time, girl. What is your number 1 movie on your top 10 best of Wes Craven?
So I have Scream. I thought this was an amazing movie. I couldn't believe, I was so happy that Drew Barrymore was in this. And when she got killed in the first, 5 minutes? It's like, what?
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. But, and it gave me one of my favorite characters in horror. I'm a Dewey fan, and yeah, man. I mean, and Courtney Cox, who didn't watch Friends in the 90s? I know I did. So, yeah, it was a great movie.
All right. Okay. You got us with it. So Scream at number 1. All right. Real quick too in the chat. Let's see. Hey, we got Katie's in the chat. All right. Long time no see. Good to see you, Katie. All right. Saying hi, friends. Okay. Elm Street's Last Brat saying, I wasn't ready for the Drew kill. That's right. That is right. I don't think anyone was. They really caught us all off guard. Denisha helping out. Thank you so much, Denisha, saying we have 37 likes. Thanks, everyone. It is much appreciated. It is. It really, really is. Okay, guys. There's no lying. I mean, we gotta, this number one spot. It's just it had to be like this. And Kill, I know Kill smiling. I mean, look, man, look. I'm just gonna be honest. It was gonna be Cursed, but no, I'm joking. But shout out to Cursed. Cursed is not a bad film. It's some fun stuff. There was a lot of studio interference with it. It wasn't
I've only seen that once, and I really don't even remember it.
Yeah, there was a lot of studio interference, and it wasn't. Wes had a lot of stuff he was dealing with as usual, but he made it through. My number one is actually a film that he didn't necessarily have studio interference, maybe except for the ending, but it was actually a nice partnership that helped to launch a studio, the house that a certain individual built. You guys know what I'm talking about. My number one is, of course, A Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, Colin, was there any doubt? Kill, was there any doubt? I mean, Colin, you knew. You knew.
I knew.
You knew what was going to happen. Look, I can't lie. Look, there's never been any lying here, and I just cannot lie. At the end of the day, this movie, again, it changed horror. Wes did that 3 times, guys. Last House on the Left, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream. 3 different times, 3 different movies, 3 different decades, 3 different types of movies, right? With this film, it was just something we had never seen before. We had never had this whole idea of the dreamscape, as Robert loves to call it, right? Everyone has to sleep. It was so creative, so well done. The practical effects, the cast was great. Johnny Depp got his start here, so thank you, Wes, for believing in Johnny Depp. So many great moments. We have one of the greatest final girls of all time in Heather Langenkamp, who is a delightful person in person. Just to say that, love her, so humble, so kind. And Robert Englund, again, I said this earlier, a living legend. When you talk about great horror legends, and you talk about, Boris Karloff, you talk about Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, you got to put Robert Englund in that category easily. And this film checks all the boxes. Again, we talked about it when we went through the franchise. If you haven't seen that, please check it out. This movie just gives you everything you want. And as a kid, seeing it and going through the franchise as it was happening, yes, there were some moments that were kind of tough, as we referenced, but overall, Freddy Krueger is one of the big 3 when you talk about horror icons, and this is the movie that started it all. And Wes, they gambled on Wes, New Line Cinema, and Robert Shea gambled on Wes, and Wes gambled on Wes. You know what I'm saying? And thank goodness, because it made horror better. And I also want to say this too, and I really mean this: A Nightmare on Elm Street made Friday the 13th and Halloween better, and they did the same for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, when you have competition at the highest level, it makes you better, and you push the envelope. What was that?
You were breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, when you have competition at the highest level, it makes you better. And A Nightmare on Elm Street definitely made the horror genre better, especially the slashers. So that's my number one, man. That's my number one.
All right.
Real quick too, looks like we have a channel member anniversary for Katie, 5 months. Thank you so much, Katie. We appreciate you saying it's good to be back with my good friends. I love all. It's good to have you back. We're glad to have you back, Katie. Yeah. Seriously, miss seeing you in the chats. All right. And for you guys in the chat, you guys knew what was going to happen. Troy saying Nightmare on Elm Street is the best concept for horror story ever. Everyone thinks they can find a way to beat a killer, but you can't beat nature or biology. We all have to sleep at some point. Yes. Mayanne saying, I heard Nightmare Fest is happening in 2024. I don't know. We'll see though. But we love the Nightmare franchise. We really, really do. No doubt about it. Okay, so guys, that's our top 10 best of Wes Craven's movies. So many great moments, great films, and so forth. As we head on out, Kill, any final thoughts on, when we do these types of streams, we obviously have to prepare for it. So any final thoughts on what this journey has been for you?
When it comes to Wes, yes, he created Scream. It's a great franchise. He directed, I believe, 4 of the Scream movies.
Mhm.
Created Nightmare, great franchise. But his catalog is immaculate. So don't let the time element deter you from checking out Deadly Friend or Deadly Blessing, or People Under the Stairs, or Serpent in the Rainbow. These are all great films, and you can kind of just see the genius in each of these films. So definitely check them out. They're awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. And real quick, Coriander, before I get to you for final thoughts, Denisha also has a channel member anniversary. All right,
Awesome.
very, very cool. 13 months. Yeah,
Nice.
we got over that year. Said Night and Coriander, Killian, been a joy. 13 months. Thank you so much, Denisha. We really appreciate all the support and also helping us out with moderating. It really, really makes a difference. It truly does. Thank
Mhm.
you. Coriander,
Yeah.
how about you? Any final thoughts on not only just Wes, but his filmography and how, like I always say, we prepare for these live streams. So was there anything that comes to your mind that you want to end this stream on?
I mean, he's got so many great movies, and some of them I could just watch over and over, and it just made me want to watch a handful of his movies. And it's just, a shame that we couldn't have gotten a couple more out of him, because he's so talented and
Yes.
he knew what he was doing, and he gave us like so many awesome pieces of work. So I'm just thankful for what we have, and yeah, it was fun to do. So
Well said, well said, and I absolutely agree. We were able, and speaking specifically for us here on the panel, um, we lived at a time when Wes Craven, um, his name just held so much weight. You knew if it was a film by Wes Craven that you were in for it in a good way. You know what I mean? And we actually lived those moments. We saw those movies when they first came out or shortly thereafter they came out. And I think that that's such a cool thing, man, because he was just so good at what he did, and he has those popular films like Kill had said, the Scream franchise, the Nightmare movies. But he had so many great ones that were under the radar for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be Deadly Blessing or The Serpent in the Rainbow or The People Under the Stairs or Shocker. There's movies we haven't even talked about, even things like Cursed and Vampire in Brooklyn and so forth. So again, I'm just really amazed at his work. I appreciate his work. It was definitely a big influence on me growing up, and I'm just thankful to have been around during that time period. And we like you said, Coriander, you said it perfectly. We missed him. We really miss him, and he was such a cool person too, though, man. That's the part that I really enjoy, because when you talk to him, you listen to anyone talk about Wes Craven, and it's all good things. When he had passed away, and all of the Scream alumni, Nev, Courtney, David, when they talk about Wes, there's emotion in their voice, there's tears in their eyes, because that's what he meant to them. That says a lot about who he was. As great of a director as he was, sounds like he was a really great human being, a really kind and humble human being. So I think that's the biggest thing I want to put out there for you guys in the audience that are watching. He was special. So if you have not watched a lot of his filmography, and I know a lot of you guys may not have because you guys have said it, check out his stuff, guys. You won't be sorry. It's a
Nope.
fun ride. Real quick as we head on out, hey, we got Jack in the chat. What's going on, Jack? Saying, where's my members logo? Oh, Jack, I don't know, Jack. You might have to renew your membership. Hit the join button. click it before we get out of here. Thank you. Thank you, May. May beat me to the punch. She put the link into the chat to help you out there. But again, anyone else, if you would like to help support the channel, we'd appreciate it. And you just either click that link or hit the join button next to the subscribe button. So yeah, very, very cool. But you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Like I said, we hadn't done one of these top 10s in a long time, but this was a lot of fun to do. And we definitely hope to do some more of these as long as we have you guys that are interested in us doing it. So definitely leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let us know, number one, what you think of our picks. What are some of your favorite picks, or what's your top 10? We'll have the conversation down there. Don't forget to the like button. It helps to support us. We'd appreciate it. And we will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Rest in peace to Wes. Peace.
Peace.
Ch-ch.